Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I didn't hear you. Good morning, everyone. Just want to make sure you're paying attention. Thank you. I'm Robert Hokin, thank you, and I'm here to introduce the next round of presenters, Low Carbon Transport. What a pleasure to be back here at Cleantech Innovate. Having founded this program and dreamt up the format, I'm very thankful to Charlotte Morton and her excellent team for continuing on with the work so that I can put all my energies into Greenbackers. What we do at Greenbackers is very focused and straightforward, providing growth capital to enable low carbon, clean tech, and climate change businesses to move forward, full stop. So if you're a company in search of funds, if you're an investor seeking deals, deal flow, or co-investment partners, or an intermediary or consultant providing services to the sector, then come talk to us. We're just outside. You can meet with me and my very good-looking team, or get in touch through LinkedIn or look at the website. That's my very simple pitch. As chair of the selection committee for Cleantech Innovate, I've had an advanced view of some fascinating and excellent relevant technology advancements, not least in the low carbon space. So before I hand over to the technologists, I wanted to share a few thoughts about innovation and displacement in transport over the last 100 years. I prefer to use displacement as opposed to disruption. I think that's a bit overused. But take a look at this. It's a great picture of transition in transport. This is 1917 view of Broadway near 17th Street in New York. In other cities, horse carriages, as you can see in the center, are getting displaced by the electric streetcar, and just on the edge, see on the right, creeping in is an automobile coming into play. That's just 100 years ago. The Model T, which puts Ford on the map, has just gone into production. Commercial flight is yet to come. It's years away. So at this, did I lose it? So at this point, that's the state of the art. That's a handsome cab. It's state of the art in transport. So is the Windjammer. They just happen to be low carbon. They get displaced by this and this. And high carbon, but a lot more efficient and commercially viable. I'm going to fast forward to today. So a guy by the name of Jeff Bezos starts an online bookstore in his garage. His company, Amazon, goes forward to reinvent the concept of shopping. What's the second richest person in the world up to today? What's he focusing on now? Low carbon transport. That's in production. Drones. And here's a quote. Autonomous shipping is the future of the maritime industry. That's by a guy by the name of Mikhail Mikkonen. He's also president of Rolls-Royce's maritime division, and this company, where'd it go? This company expects to see this type of remote control ship in use by the end of the decade. That's just 3.5 years. The Hackney carriage gains a plug this year and gets displaced eventually, probably by this, Google's self-driving car division, Waymo, which has now clocked over 2 million miles. All these applications are electric. Bottom line is that this is not backyard dreaming or pie-in-the-sky thinking. These are big corporates putting in big spends in new technology approaches today. Now, I don't like to do too much crystal ball predictions over 10 years, but in the not too distant future, consider this as passenger drone technology. This is being tested today. And check out Hyperloop. This mode of passenger and freight transportation goes 700 miles per hour through a reduced pressure tube. Remember the old mail tubes back in the 50s and 60s, like that. San Francisco to LA in 30 minutes. That's half the time it takes a plane to go today. Now, you might think that's ridiculous, but it's being backed by this fellow. Elon Musk, who built Tesla into a company with a market cap bigger than Ford, now bigger than GM. Remember that Model T on my first slide? innovation can take hold quickly. But I believe that technology such as these aren't just interesting, that they're critical. And in fact, they may be even essential to our continued existence, because if there's anything that we've got to get to grips with today and displace is this. It's a fact that pollution levels in London this year were measured to be worse than in Beijing. Now, I don't particularly care to breathe this stuff. I don't imagine you do either, but it's our reality. Here across the UK and in other cities, it's an undeniable consequence of the last 100+ years of human activity. So about 60% of us in the UK now live in areas where pollution threatens health. Now, why on earth this government would propose delaying plans to tackle this beggars belief, but I didn't come here to be political, really, and Chris has already talked about Trump, so I don't have to today, not that I want to. But I'm going to leave you with one last thought. New technologies always need a certain amount of help. That's one reason why we're all here today. But corporates can't do it all, no matter how big they are. Government can do a lot in providing the right business infrastructure and enabling policies for low-carbon technologies to advance so that we can invest in them. And given that 90% of new power generation in the EU was renewable last year, I'd also like the government to think about, rethink its ban about subsidized onshore wind farms. Now, again, I didn't come to be here to be political, did I really? I came here to see the technology. So, but I do think that these things matter, and that we need to encourage, if not mandate, the people who are in Westminster and in Hollywood to move forward. So I hope they're listening. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you at the break. And now please put your hands together and help me in welcoming the next round of presenters for low carbon transport.